Welcome back. As we promised, we are going to tackle the latest report issued by the IMF concerning the Egyptian economy and how the Egyptian economy was dealing and is dealing with the coronavirus pandemic and the repercussions of this crisis, which is a global phenomenon these days. Well, to shed more light on this, we are very much delighted to have with us Mr. Hany Fotouh, our economic expert. A very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, let's start with your vision regarding this growth forecast, 2.7% this year, in the report which was released recently by the IMF. And in your opinion, what are the main factors on which the report depended on?
This is indeed a very good news. The International Monetary Fund raised its forecast for the Egyptian economy for the fiscal year 2021 to 2.8% from 2% in its forecast last June. Also, the IMF expects economic growth to continue to improve in the coming years to be 5.5% during the fiscal year 21-22 and going forward in the fiscal year 24-25, the economy is expected to reach 5.8%. There are several factors that contribute to Egypt achieving such a positive growth rate. First of all, Egypt enjoys a political and security stability which has been prevailing in recent years.
Yeah.
Also, the Egyptian government implemented structural reforms through the economic reform program, which was embarked in November 2016, and the impacts are manifested in the current hikes in all economic indicators.
Yeah,
I would say that this bold economic reform program included many reforms such as introduction of taxes and cutting energy subsidies, which aim to trimming the budget deficit. Over and above that, I see that the diversity of the Egyptian economic sectors is another important factor. Last but not least, I want to say that the mega and national projects in the field of infrastructure, in the field of energy projects and construction also led to drive the economic growth to achieve such positive results.
In addition to implementing financial inclusion and side by side with the mega projects, the SMEs, and taking care of the micro and macro projects with the small investors. And to continue with this, sir, since we mentioned investments, also the IMF report indicated this noticeable improvement in flows of investments. How do you see the flow of investments, particularly amid the economic repercussions of COVID-19, and how this contributed to the growth or to the improvement of the Egyptian economy as it was said in the IMF report?
Well, let me add that the IMF report indicated a noticeable improvement in flows of investment portfolios, which showed a very good increase in the second half of the year. The Egyptian market witnessed huge outflows in the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic, March onwards for 3 to 4 months. They witnessed huge outflow of investment portfolios estimated in nearly to be $20 billion. And due to this corona pandemic, foreign investors withdrew their portfolios and went to other markets. However, half of this amount, nearly $2 billion, has returned again due to the competitiveness of the Egyptian market. On top of that, I would like to mention here that according to Bloomberg Economic Agency, the real interest rate in Egypt is still attractive to foreign investors to invest in domestic debt instruments, because Egypt ranks second after Malaysia, offering the highest real returns. Another reason for foreign investors returning to invest in Egypt in domestic debt instruments is signing the standby agreement with the International Monetary Fund. This helped in bridging the financing gap resulted from the corona pandemic, and in fact, it sent a positive signal to investors.
Yep.
On a similar note, here also another important report released by Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is one of the largest global financial institutions. This report reveals that Turkey is no longer competing with Egypt in emerging markets anymore, and as a result of the deterioration in the Turkish economic condition, the investors are reluctant or discouraged to inject investments in Turkey. Meanwhile, the report described Egypt as the best among its peers in terms of real returns. My closing remark on this question, particularly the increasing demand of foreign investors to invest in Egypt in domestic debt instruments, means more confidence in the Egyptian economy.
Yeah. And to add to what you're saying, sir, there are also economic indicators like the Egypt net foreign reserves and the decline in the inflation rate as other indicators or other factors which were reflected in this report. If you want to elaborate on those two economic indicators.
Yes, indeed. The IMF confirmed that Egypt has managed well the COVID-19 pandemic and the related disruption to economic activity. Having said that, the growth slowdown has been less severe than expected. That's what was stated in the IMF report. Another reason is the good progress in the public finances. That means the budget deficit is on the downtrend, which in the past, before implementing the economic reform program, was a very serious problem. Also, inflation remains low. Egypt, the central bank efforts to curb inflation has succeeded to put the inflation at a low level. And the central bank may continue its monetary policy easing in order to boost the economic growth. Actually, these positive indicators reflect international institutions' confidence in the Egyptian economy. And we all believe that it is a testimony that proves that the economy is on the right track.
And the message to all investors, they can come and invest here without fears, despite the fact that the whole world is really suffering from the repercussions of COVID-19. One final question, sir. All what we said is something really great, but this is going hand in hand with taking care of the most needy brackets or the vulnerable sectors who are really affected by the coronavirus issue. How do you see the state's way to deal with those brackets, sir?
Well, as a matter of fact, the proactive measures taken to address health and social needs and to support the sectors most directly affected by the crisis have helped mitigate the economic and human impact. The government has placed a high priority to social protection programs and allocating a budget of approximately £300 billion in the state budget. During the year 2020, the government was able to reach many groups in society through the social protection programs like Takaful and Krama. And the number of families benefiting from these programs on regular basis is approximately 3.8 million. In addition to regular assistance for nearly 1.2 million families. And also the government, since the outbreak of the coronavirus, allocated funds to disperse 500 pounds as temporary assistance to regular workers.
Mr. Hany Aboul Fotouh, thank you very much for your input, sir, and have a very good day. And by this, we come to the end of our breakfast show today. Tomorrow is another day, another episode, and another crew. You were in the company of my dear colleague Amal Mukhtar and myself, Nirmeen Abdurrahman. Many thanks for watching. Stay tuned only on Nile TV International, always for more updates. And for more details, please log on to www.nileinternational.net. Have a very good day.